Well, good morning once again. I want to officially call our Sewage and Water Board meeting of the month of September to order. This is our first meeting. I would say you all have been laboring hard, board members, in terms of committees and keeping the work flowing. But in regards to the board as a whole, this is our first meeting with our executive director. Randy, thank you so much, and new board members that have been placed. So again, thank you. Ms. Yolanda, roll call, please.
Yes. Mayor Cantrell,
Present.
Councilmember King, Director Pacho,
Here.
Director Duplessis, Director Kennedy,
Here.
Director Cole,
Here.
Director Anthrop,
Here.
Director Howard,
Here.
Director Thomas,
Present.
Director Scruggs. Present. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you all once again. The meeting has been officially called to order. And what I will say is ask for a motion to approve the minutes from our July 16th board meeting. I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved, okay, moved by Director Scruggs. We have a second by Director Pacho. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Okay, hearing none. The minutes have been officially adopted. And so we're now going to move into committee reports, and I would start with our finance. And thank you so much, Director Howard.
All right. The Finance Committee met on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 in the boardroom. The meeting convened at 9 a.m. Present were Directors Howard, Pacho, Kennedy, Scruggs. Absent was Director Woodfin. The meeting began with a presentation from the Chief Financial Officer giving the July 2025 preliminary financial results and liquidity position. He reported that the July month-to-date water and sewer revenues were slightly above budget and drainage revenues tracking closely. The last 4 months of customer billing have improved due to nearly 90% of the smart meters being installed. And staff continues to focus on normalizing billing processes now that the meter program has reached substantial completion. The volume of service disconnects decreased during the summer heat advisories. In the meeting, Mr. Patrick Gajans, a member of the Utilities Business Service team, presented information on Resolution R-143-2025, seeking preliminary approval for the issuance of $91 million in taxable revenue bonds. There was an explanation given of how the transaction is structured. And then there were a series of action items, which will be coming to the board today. Do I have to read all those?
No, you don't. We'll take them up during action.
Okay, so we had action items of the General Superintendent's report, contract awards, renewals, amendments, and there was discussion in some detail of one proposed amendment, number 7, to the agreement between the Sewage and Water Board, New Orleans and Jacobs. There was significant discussion due to extremely high percentage increase, and the committee members requested that the presentation on professional services contracts, which were awarded on the basis of qualifications rather than price, be revised so that we can distinguish phases of work completed during the initial evaluation from other types of revisions and expansions in scope. They also asked to receive information on contracts with unusually large changes earlier. There are contract change orders by ratification, final acceptances, no public comment, and the meeting adjourned at 9:56.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for the finance report as presented. We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Director Kennedy. We need a second.
Second.
Seconded by Director Anthrop. Any questions? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, the report has been adopted officially. We will now move to Audit Committee, and we have Director Cole for that.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. The Audit Committee met on September the 10th at 10:09 a.m. Present were Directors Duplessis, Anthrop, and Councilmember King. Absent were myself and Director Woodfin. Eisner Amper presented the annual financial statement audit for 2024. Ms. Brandy Smith, a partner at Eisner Amper, provided the presentation. It is a requirement of the Louisiana Legislative Auditor, each year accompanied by the auditor's opinion to be submitted. Ms. Smith provided an unmodified or clean opinion, which means that Eisner-Amper determined that Sewage and Water Board's financial statements were material correct and in accordance with GAAP principles. Ms. Smith also stated that EA, Eisner-Amper, found no exceptions regarding any statewide AUPs agreed upon procedures which are promulgated by the LLA, nor any exceptions within the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans' a single audit which gauges compliance with the federal grant programs. Ms. Smith did note that SWB&O had experienced incidents of theft over 1,000 during the past year, which are required to be disclosed within the EA management letter. So all in all, a clean bill of health. The third quarter hazardous chemical handling pay audit update was provided by our Chief Audit Executive, Mr. Ed Sutherland. Mr. Sutherland shared the audit results on the payment structure for hazardous chemical handling pay, the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans' version of hazard pay. The audit was based on employee hours recorded from October the 1st, 2023 to September the 30th, 2024, so 1 year. The report was released in July 2025, and a response from management was received. Mr. Sutherland discussed the departments where chemical pay is frequently used. Based on out of a 100 percentile, 90% of chemical pay is used by the water purification team, which mainly uses chlorine and calcium oxide. The remaining 10% of chemical pay is used by the boiler room team, which handles sodium sulfate and sulfuric acid. The objectives of the audit were to determine whether the recordation of employee hours for chemical pay is accurate and sufficiently supported, and 2, whether chemical pay is utilized judiciously in accordance with established policies of the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and Civil Service, and 3, adequacy and effectiveness of any enforced directive controls. 4, whether chemical pay is used with the appropriate authorization, accountability, and oversight from divisional department management, and 5, the overall efficiency of the utilization of the hazard chemical handling pay. Mr. Sutherland shared the audit findings and recommendations, including 1, employees should receive formal authorization from management that they are eligible for chemical pay. 2, payroll tools and pay policies should be updated to reflect accurate rates of pay. 3, pay table configurations for HCHP codes should be updated to ensure that accurate payment to employees. 4, employee work schedules should be modified so that they are not continuously recorded HCHP pay instead of regular time. And 5, timesheets should be reconciled between the HCHP logs and employee timesheets before submission. The committee discussed these issues identified in each finding. Mr. Sutherland noted that the response from management on the recommendations was timely and adequate. The committee also offered suggestions to improving this process of the utility. So we have some work to do there. The meeting came to an end at 10:40 a.m. And adjourned by Director Plessis.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
Director Cole. Let the record reflect that Director Duplessis has arrived. First of all, relative to the report, great progress relative to the audit. Definitely a list of to-dos regarding employees, but I love the fact, based on how they're laid out specifically and ripe, I would say, for us correcting in those particular areas. So I look forward to that. All right, so we need a motion to approve the audit committee report as presented.
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Scruggs.
Second.
Seconded by Director Duplessis. Any questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
I would like to make sure that the minutes reflect that Councilmember King was not present at the meeting.
Okay, well, that is because he's absent, right? We did roll call.
Right, but I mean at the,
Oh, at the committee meeting.
as present in the minutes.
got
And I
it.
want to make sure that it's reflected that he was
Okay,
not present.
so let the minutes reflect the
That
change in the.
Councilmember King was not present.
Was not present, okay. Got that? All right, so we have the report as presented and also as amended, I would say. So we need a motion, we have a motion, it's been seconded by Director Duplessis. We can move forward, I believe, or do we need another motion on the amended?
We just need a motion to amend.
Okay, so. Okay, so we have an amendment approved by, motion by Director Cole, seconded by Director Howard. So we need a vote to approve the report as amended. So all in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, hearing none, we have officially adopted the report as amended. That's for the audit committee. And we'll move now to operations, and I'll go back to Director Howard.
You're overworking.
No, ma'am. I do my job.
The Operations Committee met on Wednesday, September 10, in the boardroom. The meeting convened at 10:50. Present were Directors Howard, Kennedy, Duplessis, and Thomas, and absent was Director Davis. There are two presentation items. The first one was on performance goals given by Jamie Parker, the Chief of Staff. There was a little bit of background in there. The Sewage and Water Board has been using a 5-year strategic plan that began in 2022 to guide operations and decision-making. And the utility, at the request of the City Services Coalition, been asked to share some of the performance goals with measurable outcomes. And the staff, since this is right in line with what we've been working on, we prepared a presentation, staff prepared a presentation of key performance goals. And they focus on 6 areas: financial stability, technology modernization, workforce development and enrichment, customer service excellence and stakeholder engagement, infrastructure resiliency and reliability, and organizational and operational improvements. And then within those, they presented performance goals. And some of those areas. And committee members discussed each of the performance goals, offered feedback on how to clarify the goals and tactics, and staff will revise the presentation based on the committee's feedback and share the revised presentation with the committee. There was also a follow-up, actually, to another meeting earlier this year. We had a human resources update from Kimberly Batiste, the interim human resources director. And she shared a presentation focusing on employee performance review process, job classifications, and a compensation study. Other HR personnel participated, including Mr. Joe Longo, Ms. Terry Scipio, and Ms. Myra Moore, along with Dave Callahan, the Chief Administrative Officer. Mr. Longo explained the employee performance review process, noting that it is fully governed by civil service rules and cannot be altered, supplemented, or replaced by SWIBNO. Ms. Scipio discussed how positions are classified and explained the differences between citywide classifications and utility-specific ones. Ms. Moore focused on the compensation study and noted how it's a proper classification comp study is foundational to any attempt to increase compensation, and that the HR department would be requesting funding for a study in fiscal 2026 budget. The committee discussed ways to engage current employees while also seeking new talent. And there was no public comment, and Director Thomas moved to adjourn, and Director Kennedy seconded, and the meeting was adjourned at approximately noon.
Thank you very much, Director Howard. So we have heard the Operations Committee report as presented. We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Pacho.
Second.
Seconded by Director Thomas. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, so we have officially adopted the Operations Committee report as presented. And we'll move to the Executive Director's report. And as we do, I just want to give a big thank you to the dedicated men and women of the Sewage and Water Board. You know, they showed up, we know, 20 years ago, K20 really set the tone for how we needed to modernize our utility. And this board has made sure that we're moving and investing hundreds of millions of dollars, and of course, building partners and improving our relations in the community. I believe that we're fit and we're right for the leadership of today, and that comes through our director, Randy Heyman. But I also wanted to acknowledge our board member of the past coming on back here. Thank you so much. And as I was sharing with Director Thomas, it's really good to have the different perspective from then to now, because that's what we'll need to move us forward, really understanding how far we've come, because it's undeniable and right for leadership. So, Director, you got it.
Thank you.
Time for the
Thank you.
report.
Absolutely. I want to say that one of my mantras, I use a lot of mantras to move myself forward and to motivate myself. And one is moving forward, always moving forward. And this very first item that we have, which is the power complex, I think shows the Sewage and Water Board moving forward. I'm glad to say we're energized the static frequency changer number 1 with power from the substation and transformer equipment. Most importantly, we verified that the surge force controller number 1 is capable of achieving the design performance that's required, producing 22 megawatts of 25 hertz power. It is physically connected to a 25 hertz electrical distribution system and successfully undergone testing with a simulated load source. Pump testing is currently going on, and FFC is successfully being utilized to operate potable water pumps. So we're moving in the right directions with this as we finalize the needs. The next one is the drainage consolidation. I'm glad to say here that we have 5 of 5 DPW vac trucks received, 3 vac trucks are operating, 2 are undergoing repairs. We have cleaned over 317,000 linear feet of drain lines, 55,000 linear feet of catch basins and laterals, and 7,390 catch basin structures. I think most importantly, it's important to note that we have cleaned out over 5.4 million pounds of debris that's been removed from the drainage system. This is very important because, as you know, once we remove that, the system begins to work as it should freely, allowing what needs to go through it to go back to our system and back to our treatment plants. We have a pre-assessment of shows 49% of the lines require cleaning, so we have a lot more to do. 311 service request assessments, pending service requests at 5,600 approximately. And service requests closed since January have been about 1,000, I'm sorry, since January 1, it's been 3,274. The smart meter project is entering into closeout. The project is coming in under budget and ahead of schedule, which allows our team to focus on transition from installation to operations. And what that will include, that we'll have to deal with our tamper alarms, update SOPs and policies. We'll look at our pressure profile monitoring with ally meters, and basically go forward with the operation side of finalizing the transition. Lastly, I want to say that as the new executive director, as you know, I come with a deep background with 3 other utilities. But it's important that I come here with the mindset of listening and learning. And so this past month, we have taken time to visit with the staff at several locations: Carrollton Water Pump, Algiers Water Pump, Central Yard, DPS 6, Algiers Customer Service Center, and a walkthrough here at St. Joe. We have participated in Councilmember King's town hall meetings, and we have prioritized meeting with key partners, the mayor, board members, city council representatives, and state representatives. These meetings will continue through the month of September and October. And I must say, during this time, I've received a sincere, heartwarming welcome, and I'm most appreciative. The conversations have been informative, but the instructions are clear. We need to see progress and improvement at the Sewage and Water Board. Now, I say this with confidence. Our staff is smart, determined, and dedicated. I believe that we are ready to make progress and move in the right direction. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Director Heyman. Any questions relative to the Executive Director's report? I did see notes being taken by some of the board members, and I would say make that report available to the members here.
Yes.
Okay. And when you were talking about debris removed from drain lines, I remember not even 6 years ago, we were pulling cars out. You know, people forget. You know, it's true, they forget. And even 7, we were pulling cars and things that had been in there since Katrina. So the work is still happening, progress is being made every single day. And so with that, we'll move forward. We need now Ms. Yolanda?
And now we're ready for the election of the President Pro Tem. Mayor?
All right. So putting forward relative to the President Pro Tem of the Sewage and Water Board, Director Chadwick Kennedy has been,
So we'll need a motion to nominate.
yes.
In vain with where you were going, Mayor. I would like to nominate Director Chadwick Kennedy for President Pro Tem of the Sewage and Water Board.
Thank you very much, and it comes with real dedication and commitment, I would say, and a continuity in that, having it in you, Director Duplessis, and absolutely welcoming the leadership of Director Kennedy. So a motion has been made. We do need a second.
Second.
It's been seconded by Director Thomas. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, hearing none, we've officially appointed Director Kennedy as President Pro Tem.
For your confidence.
Right, good job with that. And so now we'll move on. Ms. Yolanda.
Yes, now we have our action item, Resolution R-143, 2025. We have Jason Akers here with Foley Judell. Jason?
Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, board members. I'm Jason Akers. I'm with Foley and Udell. We serve as bond counsel to the Board of Liquidation and by extension bond counsel to the Sewage and Water Board. The resolution before you today, I want to start by apologizing to Director Howard for missing the Finance Committee meeting. As I explained, we were at a bond nerd conference in DC, and unfortunately, most of our attorneys at the office were there, so we weren't present, but I understand that Mr. Gagins did a good job explaining everything. So just very briefly for the rest of the board, this is preliminary approval of a single preliminary approval of two different loans eventually to be made by the Louisiana Department of Health Drinking Water Revolving Loan Fund, which is the state's revolving loan fund for drinking water programs. Loan number one would be for approximately $66 million. That's for the lead service line replacement program to continue that in the city. That loan has terms of 49% forgiveness, which means that as that money is drawn, it is forgiven immediately. The remaining 51% is non-interest bearing and repaid over a 20-year period. The other loan is approximately $25 million. That's for the bulk chemical feeder at the Carrollton plant. This is where my history major and finance background comes in. I'm just reading those words. If there are questions on that particular project, I'm going to look to your administration for those. But that loan has $3 million that will be forgiven as it's drawn on a pro rata basis. The remainder will bear interest at a 2.45% over a 20-year term. That may extend to 30 years depending on terms off. Our goal is to get these closed in the first quarter of 26 so those programs and projects can continue to proceed. As by way of background, for those that haven't been through this before, there are a number of approvals that this transaction will go through before it actually funds are available. And it starts with your approval today. And then later this afternoon, the Budget Committee of the City Council will take it up and consider it and advance it to the full City Council meeting next week, also for preliminary approval. Then it will go to the Board of Liquidation. Once Board of Liquidation approves, we file the application with the State Bond Commission, which has to approve any borrowing of any public entity in the state, such as Sewage and Water Board. Then it comes back through the same process, Sewage and Water Board first, then City Council and Board of Liquidation. Then we move into closing. So that's why we're targeting first quarter of 26, because there are a number of steps in the processes that we have to accomplish. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Again, this will come back to you for final approval before we're able to close. So you will have a chance to consider it again.
Thank you very much for the presentation and just for the thorough overview, particularly for board members who are joining us. So thank you for that. We know, board members, that the two projects identified are critical to the future progress of this utility, and we are in great position to move forward thanks to the work. The lead line replacement has to be done. We're one of the first municipalities and utilities in the country starting this process. In addition to that, of course, the chemical feeder, very important when we talk about public safety and water quality. And so with that, we need a motion to approve.
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Howard. We need a second. Seconded by Director Pacho. Any questions?
I do, just really quickly,
Yes,
Mayor,
ma'am.
just for clarity. Could you please reiterate the amounts for the two loans one more time?
Yeah, sure. The lead service line replacement loan is approximately 66 million, and the remaining 25 million is for the bulk chemical feeder at the Carrollton plant.
Thank you.
And 49% of that will be forgiven.
49% of the 66 million will be forgiven. 3 million of the 25 million will be forgiven. And that's because they come from different pools of funds at the revolving loan fund itself.
Yes.
It receives money through EPA grants or through congressional appropriations. And so the different pots of money have different terms associated with them.
But a very critical component, I would say, and it speaks to, where we are and the opportunities that present. So thank you. Move second. We've had a question answered, and now all in favor. Oh, sorry about that,
Sorry, I
Director.
had a question about the forgiveness. Obviously, given the current instability in Washington DC around these types of programs, is there any guarantee that the forgiveness will happen? Is that built into the sort of documents with the bond that can't be taken away?
These funds are already on deposit at the state level. They've already been part of the appropriation process through Congress. So they are at the state level now, and those conditions can't change.
Great.
And we wouldn't expect those to. You might recall at the beginning of this year, there was an effort to claw back some things, and that was ultimately unsuccessful. So we're pretty confident that forgiveness won't change.
Absolutely, and based on, quite frankly, the level of federal spend, the level of allocation, and at the end of the day, the results on the ground, and the need to continue to invest in this utility. One of the critical components was making sure dollars were locked in, and this is. So thank you for that, Director Anthrop. Now it's moved seconded. 2 questions clarified, answered. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, hearing none, we've officially adopted. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Yolanda.
Yes. Now we need a motion to approve corresponding resolutions R21, 2025, R142, 2025, R111, 2025, R12, 2025, R15, 2025, R133, 2025, R134, 2025, 136, 2025, R113, 2025, R116, 2025, R122, 2025, R123, 2025, R124, 2025, R126, 2025, R27, 2025, R129, 2025, R130, 2025, R131, 2025, R132, 2025, R114, 2025, R125, 2025, and R135, 2025.
Okay, and we can approve these in global?
Yes,
Okay,
Mayor.
very good. So we need a motion to approve in globalization. Resolutions just presented by our General Counsel.
So move.
Second.
Been moved by Director Kennedy, seconded by Director Duplessis. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, we've officially adopted the resolutions. Ms. Yolanda.
We have information items for the board members to review. And do we have any public comment? No public comment, Mayor. And we are ready now for adjournment.
Okay, and no executive session.
No executive session.
All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, meeting adjourned. All in favor? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all so very much.